Hi, my name is Elisabeth Dahlin and I am the Ombudsman for Children in Sweden. I think it's fantastic to have the privilege to work on child rights. I've done it in different capacities. Children are not being heard, are not being listened to, and that decisions on children are made without children themselves being involved. And then you don't get good decisions. It's so important to involve children for real. Not just to tick off that, well, children participated. As you might know that Sweden kept primary schools and preschools open during the pandemic. We were one of the few countries in the world doing so. But when we looked on effects for children on the pandemic, we talked to a lot of children, but then we opted to talk to children in areas of the country with low socioeconomic standard, that they could give a totally different perspective. But as the children said, nobody explained to us, and it's very difficult to follow if you don't understand the why. If the schools had discussed with the kids, it could have become a much better situation. And I think thanks to the children, we could focus on several areas where the adult world did not think about children. Information from the government was only geared to adults, and we have a large population of young people. We are seeing more and more countries actually having these independent ombudsmen, which is based on the Paris principles of independence. And believe me, even I sometimes have to remind our government that I am an independent rapporteur. Even though we get the budget from the government, we are independent. But I think we can see very good examples in countries such as Mozambique that are working very hard on a child rights perspective, both in the legal system, but also in direct support for children. In Europe, in most countries, we do have independent ombudsmen. Sometimes the government is not very comfortable, but when it comes to child rights, when children do not have a voice, when children cannot vote, somebody has to express their voices. And particularly in countries where you have a very large part of the population being very young, it is important that children do get good representatives. And it's also, you get better decisions if children are involved. In Ukraine at the moment, for instance, the Ombudsman is doing a fantastic job in looking into what has happened to children. They publish every day, even if they are still in a war. France, for instance, is another country that is doing a tremendous job on child rights with the commissioner. So I think that there are many good examples. Not all of us work in the same way. It's up to every country to see how they want to work. But the fact that this independent ombudsman role can really be a strength of a country, of somebody who can work full time on seeing which are the children who we don't see, which are the children that we need to identify at an early stage. So I would say in most countries where they have an independent ombudsman, it's a very respected role.